doing something fun.
Oh.
Don't kiss her, don't kiss her, don't kiss her, Jade.
She going, huh? Like,
Sewing up the groom's pants.
We got pulled over.
right as we left the wedding.
Right as we left the wedding.
We're the Jonases. We're a family of 10 plus a few more. I'm the mom PJ with my husband Jim, our daughter Brett, our sons Coulter, Emery, Fletcher, Graydon, and Hewitt, and our daughters Indigo and Jade. We have our hands full with raising dairy goats on our farm, making goat milk soaps and other products from their milk, all while homeschooling and homesteading happily. We love our life and sharing how we live on the other side of the fence.
What do you hear?
Okay, let's open them.
Let's open them.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, you gotta wait for Daddy. What are they saying?
Just saying. Okay, 6. Hold on. Let me out.
Okay. He's getting them out, honey.
Whoa!
You know what you have to do?
What?
You have to dip their beaks, remember?
Yeah. Okay, now it's the real.
Okay, Daddy wants us to wait for Nona.
Wait for Nona. Wait for
You
Nona.
can look at them.
Oh.
Michael freaks out.
Look, so fast, Sissy.
Black ones?
You gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Dad, I told ya.
You told me what?
Sissy, I told them the same colors.
Yeah.
Beak.
So when we bring in our chicks, some of our favorite types that we always get are Buff Orpingtons. We've done White Leghorns. Those are kind of like, we each kind of have our own breed of chicken, which is kind of weird. Buff Orpingtons have always been mine. They're friendly, they're yellow, they go broody, so they raise more chicks. I've always just liked them. They've always been my breed.
So Landon loves the chicks now, but when he was younger, he was super scared of the chickens. And we don't know why. There's nothing that they ever did to him. He was always with us. And he loved seeing them, but they would scare him. So I actually got called a bad mom on the internet because this one time Landon asked me to go see the chickens. And I took him in there and opened the door so he could see the chickens, knowing he didn't like them. But he asked, and so I said, okay, I'll open the door. And there was a chicken in the nest box. And she popped her head out and clucked at him. You want to see the chickens? Thank you. Mommy doesn't like chickens, though. Chickens are mean. It's okay. And he screamed, and it was so funny. I mean, he was fine, but yeah, that one really scared him. So he wasn't always a huge fan of the chickens. He's not a big fan of big chickens still, but he loves the little chicks.
Michael is not a fan of chicks. Michael is not really a fan of a lot of things, but chicks are definitely one of the things that are on his not a fan list.
Landon, why do you have to dip their beaks in water?
Because they're thirsty.
Because they're thirsty?
Yeah. The water's thirsty.
There are a lot of thirsty. Not only do we have new chicks, we have baby rabbits. We have the rabbits so we can feed them the garden waste, and their poop then is the best garden fertilizer ever. So they eat all of our scraps and then give us this awesome fertilizer for our epic garden. Yum, yum, yum.
We have a huge garden, and the reason I have a huge garden is because I want my kids to eat vegetables.
So raspberries are my personal favorite berry, and so when Mom was expanding the garden, I asked for more raspberries, and she delivered. We have more raspberries than you could ever eat now, and fortunately, my kids love them too.
Yeah. But my favorite part, I think, so one of the reasons that I have a garden is just so people can go and eat them fresh, because yeah, it's great to have fresh berries from the grocery store, but it's even more nutritious when you just get them off of the vine. And my favorite is when Michael goes out and picks raspberries, because Michael doesn't go out and pick the raspberries and eat them. Michael just leaves his hands on and picks the raspberries with his mouth, and he just and picks them off the bush, and they're spiky, and he doesn't care. He just grabs them with his mouth off and just eats and eats. I mean, they get covered. And if they go out and you're picking and you have a bucket, you know, and like it takes a while to fill that bucket, and they'll just handfuls
out of your bucket. You're like, I've been picking for an hour. Why is there nothing in my bucket? It's because my kids ate them.
Yeah, so many raspberries. I have wanted a wood-fired oven for at least 10, 15 years, and I finally got one. And a big part of why I wanted it was just for the memory making. Yes, I think the food is better in it. Yes, I think that it tastes better, but really there's just something about eating outdoors with your family, having this more of an event kind of thing, and a wood-fired oven captures that perfectly.
So with the outdoor oven, typically I'm the one who they'll say, hey, can you start a fire? I'm like, oh, no problem. I'm good at starting fires, and I know how to get that oven up to temp quickly, and I know how to what temperature to get it to, and all that. So I'm really good, if I do say so myself, with getting that oven up to the proper temperature. And then I hand it over to the people who like to prepare food, and they make some fantastic stuff in there. I'm kind of a traditional guy. I really enjoy our pizzas, but there are tons of other really good things that they make in there too.
My favorite meal ever in the outdoor oven is Heroes. I love them so much.
Okay, it used to be Heroes, now it's definitely pizza.
I love the Heroes.
Because everyone else took gyros, I should take gyros from India. That's what I should do. Make sure that mine goes first so she's copying me, not the other way around.
One of my favorite meals in the outdoor oven is actually our roasted squash that we do. While it's fantastic in a regular oven, when you take it into the wood-fired oven, it just takes it up a notch and it's fantastic.
I mean, just the classic pizzas are delicious.
My favorite meal in the outdoor oven is a toss-up between the baked feta or the s'mores dip that my mom makes. Although the Heroes and the pita are also really good. It's all really good.
Emery is a hopeless romantic.
Emery is chaotic and caring.
Helpful and courageous.
Emery's excitable. Emery is artistic and creative.
Creativity.
Makes really good desserts too.
If I had to pick Emery in 1 to 2 words, I would pick companion, because while he and I weren't always the closest growing up, he was part of mine and Coulter's Three Musketeers band, and as we grew up, Emery and I had a lot more similar interests.
Emery, I've always said, I had a friend and called him Mr. Sunshine, and Emery is just a people person through and through, and just loves relationships and being with people and talking and interacting, and does a really good job of helping me to make different memories and make things fun for everybody.
Emery is a very smart George of the jungle. And he runs into a tree and he goes, oh, it's okay. It just, things don't faze him. He's just good with it.
Mr. Sunshine.
Emery brings this loving, over-the-top, kind of doesn't think and just does things. He is always like moving on to the next thing, and he is very artsy and he's very talented, and he just kind of does things that make people feel special.
I mean, you're describing all the leaders. Emery is also a leader for our family. Emery is, we jokingly call him our mother sometimes, because for the younger ones, Emery is like such a person to go to for advice, to always, he will always try and understand your situation, and if he feels like someone is being attacked or like if he feels someone isn't being treated as they should be, he will always step up and be like your defender. And Emery is such a caring, kind person. And so I would say like Emery brings to the family like a sense of protection and just a sense of kindness to the family.
Emery and I were buddies when we were younger. We had a buddy system, and everybody had their one buddy so that the older kids would take care of a younger kid and the younger kid wasn't like left alone anywhere. And Emery was my buddy. And one time we were at Disney World and Emery and I were on a bus headed back to the hotel late at night. It was like the last bus. It was super crowded, there was no seats. So Emery and I just sat on the floor. And Graydon and Jade were with us too, but they're not in the story. So we're sitting there and we're like super bored and we're like, all right, what are we gonna do? And we decide, hey, let's come up with a handshake. And so we spent the entire ride coming up with a handshake, and what we came up with is pretty good.
Ashton's steady, very responsible.
Resilient and peaceful.
Ashton is perfect for Emery.
Ashton is quiet.
Ashton is my adopted sister because she lived with me and Mason for 2 years, the first 2 years of our marriage. And so she really became the older sister that I never had. Ashton's biggest strength that she brings to the family is her ability to keep things going in the barn, whether she's got help or not.
Ashton is a very quiet soul and keeps a lot.
Ashton really brings in a sense of duty to the family. We always had a strong sense of duty, but she really brings that to the next level where if it's something that she needs to get done, she's going to do it.
I think Ashton's just like this really calm personality, which we're really not used to. It's definitely a change of pace for this family. But I think Ashton makes us all appreciate like the quiet moments.
She's not a very exuberant person, and so it makes you feel special when you can make her laugh, when you can have that connection with her and either have just a really good conversation or share a story or whatnot, because you know that she really likes you when you actually put a smile on her face.
Ashton has been around here for years now, working with us, and she is a hard person to get to know at a deep level. But she is a real ballast around here because she doesn't like change, and she doesn't change much. So in all of the chaos that is this large family, she really is a very calming force in the family.
So for the rehearsal dinner, Ashton and I got to the rehearsal space pretty early, and everything was going pretty smoothly. And then I learned that my parents weren't going to be there with the doors that we needed to get set up for at least another half hour, and then they ended up being like 45 minutes late. So I was a little bit stressed out about that, but it all worked out just perfectly. We were able to get the arches set up. We had one in the front, we had one in the back. We got those set up, we got all the chairs set up and everything, and then Mr. Sweetland was able to walk us through the rehearsal, get everything done. Everything went very well. Everybody knew what they had to do. Most of our wedding party had been in multiple weddings, so it wasn't anything new to anybody, and it was honestly really smooth. Everything went very well.
What did you DIY at your wedding?
Everything.
I was gonna say
We did everything.
pretty much everything.
Yeah, at our wedding, we did a lot of different things ourselves. One of the ones that I'm like probably most proud of, actually there's a few I'm most proud of. The doors that we did and the cake. But we decorated pretty much everything ourselves. We built the doorway into the ceremony spot with doors from my house, and then built that whole thing. We did our own cake, which was a bit of a journey. It was a good cake. We got to make it together.
Icing was like this thick.
I did cream cheese icing, which didn't hold up the greatest, but it held up pretty well, all things considered. But it had to go on really thick to make sure that it could look smooth. So yeah, it was very, very thick icing. It was a journey.
Yeah, because you put so much of it in the mixer. He's used to like a giant mixer in like the catering kitchen, and my mom has one, a normal one that most people have in their kitchen. And so he put so much in it, and like the stuff came right out of it.
Yeah, so we weren't sure we were going to be able to have a rehearsal at all, or at least not at the location we were actually going to have it, because we were getting married on a Sunday, and if there was a Saturday wedding that was booked the day before, then we weren't actually going to be able to have our rehearsal. the day before, but they ended up not having a wedding booked that day, so we were able to do our rehearsal on Saturday. And so there were a few things that were like last minute that we had to like kind of put up, but everything worked out really well. And then we went over and had pizza and cake, so.
Ashton asked Samuel to play probably about 3 months, 4 months before the wedding, and she wanted specific songs, and Samuel didn't know any of these songs. So we have a piano here, and Samuel spends a lot of time here after work and stuff, and every night Samuel would practice these songs, and he wasn't getting any better. They were horrible.
Samuel's a very good piano player, and so to hear him struggling so hard on the song was hard for us. We get to the rehearsal, and I'm like, okay, he's gotta have it by now. The wedding's in the morning. Like, we've got this, right? And we're all practicing, walking down the aisle, and he's playing, and it's not
good.
perfect.
It's not even close to perfect. It wasn't good.
And I'm sitting there really nervous, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not gonna be great. Don't kiss her, Jade!
As we witness Emery and Ashton. Was your wedding what you expected?
It went smoother than I thought it would go. I think that's,
You're welcome.
yeah, good job.
It was exactly what I expected. I had everything planned out to an exact T, and the only thing that wasn't what I expected was me ripping my pants at the end of the night. So, but everything else went exactly as it was planned, therefore exactly how I expected. And yeah, nothing went wrong. It was a lot of fun, honestly. If it didn't have to all be perfect because it was my wedding, I would have thoroughly enjoyed myself. But I was a little bit stressed out. Hopefully I wasn't too much of a groomzilla.
Right.
But one of my favorite things about the wedding was honestly probably just dancing with Ashton.
I liked our first dance.
That was a lot of fun. I can think of 3 things that went wrong.
That went wrong.
The number 1 was me ripping my pants.
Yeah.
You going, huh? Like,
Sewing up the groom's pants!
and again, that wasn't really.
It wasn't really that bad.
It really wasn't. So I mean, Hunter was there, and we just went to the back and took my pants off and got those sewed up, and I was back out there and missed I think 2 songs, so not too bad.
Yeah.
The other 2 things, number 1 was Mr. Sweetland accidentally said Graydon's name instead of mine, so there's that. And then the other one, which we didn't learn about until afterwards in the pictures.
Which one?
One of my vest buttons is undone.
Oh, that one.
For like half of the photos, and nobody saw it. So.
When Coach said the wrong names, I just like started laughing, and I was just looking over at Graydon, and Graydon looked so embarrassed. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty embarrassing for you.
Yeah, I felt like bad for Coach, but like it was funny, so I just laughed.
So for Emery and Ashton's wedding, we all had the exact same dress, so I did like it a lot. I felt like I could have probably had a dress that suited me better, but I did like it a lot. I thought she did an amazing job finding a dress that fit all of the bridesmaids' body type.
I, at first, thought I was gonna hate it because it's not a dress that I would typically wear, and then I kind of fell in love with it.
So playing the piano for Emery and Ashton, it was a lot of fun, and it was very stressful. I was very happy to be able to give something to that wedding. It was a lot of work, a lot of practice to get the songs to the level I wanted them. I felt like I had them in pretty well in hand when I went down there. Playing for the rehearsal was rough. I couldn't get through any of the songs without completely fumbling and messing it up. I think Ashton's mom was going to have a heart attack and throw me in the river. I was about to throw myself in the river, but at the very end of the rehearsal and for the wedding, I played better than I have ever before. So I'm very thankful that that all came together for them.
When we were supposed to do a special thing for filming for pictures on her wedding day, and so I was like, well, I don't know what to do, and so I went to just like hug her, and then I was like, I'm gonna kiss her, and so I lean in, and I'm like, and she's smiling, she's like, and we're about to pose the camera, and then all of the bridesmaids starting, no!
I was gonna say, I hear Indigo going, no, 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 no.
Everyone starts yelling at us, but it was too late.
It was too late.
Mwah. Perfect lips. I must say it was a very perfect kiss because the lipstick planted directly on her cheek was a perfect kiss. It really was. It really was. But yeah, she just had a perfect, just red lipstick all over, and I was like,
cheek, right?
oh, I'm so dumb. I never wear lipstick. I like maybe put on makeup like what, once a month. I don't know.
Rarely.
Very rarely for very special occasions. So I just completely forgot that there would be anything on my lips. And yeah, we had to like run, like
gently wipe it off
gently wipe it off without taking away like the rest of her makeup, but like it left a little bit of a blush where blush isn't supposed to be, but it looks good. Looks good. But it was funny.
We got pulled over.
Right as we left the wedding.
Right as we left the wedding. So it was interesting because I was like, why are you pulling over? And he's like, there's a cop behind me. I was like, what?
I just thought it was going to zoom past. It did not.
And I was like, what? And so I'm like waiting, and I'm like, he's pulling behind us. So he pulled behind us, and then I was like, that better not be Kyle. And then I was like, wait a second. That better be Kyle, and it was. And he couldn't make it to the wedding, so he said, gave me a hug and said congratulations, and we went our way. So.
Kyle's her cousin, in case that wasn't stated.
So yeah, that was fun.